The meta, lore, and quality of Nullscape is about to change drastically. The most recent update, Doom and Bloom, was an incredible foundational update which massively spikes the quality of the game. But I can assure you, after hearing about what this video and the new teasers have in store, Nullscape only gets better. Delusional Descension is the upcoming content update, which has already been teased to great extent in the official Nullscape Discord. In this video, we will cover absolutely everything we currently know about the next update and discuss speculations on upcoming content. This will include insane class buffs, crazy new altars and buffs to existing altars, amazing new curses and upgrades, some interesting new enemies, and so much more. I cannot wait to discuss how Nullscape is about to get so much better with you. Note that this video contains Nullscape spoilers, but they are placed in the last section of this video to still make this video watchable without spoilers. Let's get started. First, let's get into one of the most meta-changing sections. In this section, we will be covering all teasers somehow related to altars. We have a lot to discuss, so let's get into it. The first teaser in question relates to echo altars. Currently in the game, when you use an echo altar, the only ways for you to remember what altar will actually be echoed is if you, number 1, actively remember the last used altar, or number 2, ping the altar without being the host, allowing the prompts to tell you what altar will be echoed. Though helpful, these ways are not ideal, because what if altar votes are off? What if you're the host and the only one who can activate an altar, but don't want to accidentally echo the wrong altar or risk wasting an echo? It's clear that this could be improved, and the devs are already working on it. Take a look at this teaser. We see an echo altar rotating with the altar that will be echoed visible in the mirror. This is amazing! This solves all the aforementioned problems while also managing to look incredibly polished. That, and notice the altar inside? This appears to be a new altar. It appears to have a heart on the top with some sort of barb spiked on its layers. What could this altar be? My guesses are number 1 has something to do with the upcoming live system, perhaps granting a life in exchange for some downside. More on that later, by the way. Although, to be fair, it's unlikely a retry related altar could be echoed, but still. Or number 2, some sort of way to remove permanent enemies maybe. Who knows? We can only speculate. The other thing that this GIF calls to attention is what appears to be a buff to the radar module altars upgrade. Notice the beam of light? This will genuinely make radar altars so much more useful aside from the colored arrows. Every altar appears to have one, such as orange for purgatory, purple for echo, and light blue for protection, which will make them tremendously easier to find. Thank God for this. The next altar teaser genuinely raised an eyebrow for me and has some serious implications. Notice the negative gift yield? This has to mean that you get some sort of negative yield that will make you lose gifts. Here are my speculations as to what this could be. Number 1, altar chance may be able to grant negative gift yield, aside from just positive gift yield or payments, and if you get that enough, it could end up being a total negative yield. Number 2, perhaps the aforementioned heart altar's downside, assuming I am correct, subtracts gift yield by a substantial amount. Number 3, this could have something to do with an upcoming curse, perhaps another economy-driven curse like at Lap 2 or nothing. What do you guys think this could be? No matter what it is, it seems like it's going to absolutely transform the meta by de-incentivizing gift collection in some way. Can't wait to see what this is going to look like. The next teaser is very exciting though. Altar Purification is getting a slight rework, one that I consider to be a buff even though it's a small change. Look at this screenshot posted by the devs. It shows a new set of pedestals labeled Purification. This can only mean one thing. You get to choose what curse to purify, along with actually being able to see how many gifts you'll be able to lose. This makes Purification so much more realistic to use consistently. There are a lot of things we can gather from the screenshot. Number 1, the only thing we get to see, at least from what this screening tells us, is how many gifts are taken away when removing a curse. It doesn't seem to state what enemy will be added, if that is even still going to be a thing Puri does. Number 2, it currently seems, especially based on what the devs are saying, that the 3 most highest priority curses are the ones that's going to be chosen, and it doesn't seem like you'll be able to switch between the ones that are not priority. Number 3, it also doesn't appear like these selections can be rerolled or skipped, meaning that once you commit to purification, you have to purify something. Number 4, since you're actually able to see how many gifts you'll lose, it's uncertain if you'll still be able to go into negative golden gifts, or in my terms, going into student loan debt by purifying. That, and is it just me, or is this cost really low? It's comparable to the benefit of Patch 5's metal curses. My guess would be you could still get in debt due to the presence of the economic recession badge, but as of now we cannot be sure. Either way, crazy buff, right? Can't wait to see this in game. The last altar teasers in question, the ones that I find the most exciting, has something to do with the upcoming wishes system. As you can see from the screenshots, the ability to activate purgatory without downsides is being teased. This implies that wishes, however they are attained, allow you to situationally take on additional gift yield and possibly other benefits such as a guaranteed positive altar chance effect or no downsides when purifying a curse by using a wish. Based on other teasers, most notably this one, it appears like the way to gain wishes is through this angelic looking wish altar, which according to the descriptions provided by by the devs will be a one-time per use run alter, which will not be counted towards the maximum alter generating in a level. It appears to have a white ping from the radar module alters buff, along with this notable black alter ping. I wonder what that is. It appears to be a different alter though, but anyway. All the teases imply that you are granted 3 free alters per run, which are no downside alters, which I imagine might be modified based on difficulty. For instance, perhaps Extreme will only get 1 or 2, but we'll have to see. The screenshot does show the edge of a high-rise biome generation, which implies you'll need to get far, at least level 18, before having access to this alter, which does sound fair to me. That's about it for the upcoming alter teasers though. What do you guys think of my speculations, and do you have any of your own? Are you guys excited for free purgatory alters and new alters coming up? I know I am. Though these teasers are exciting, the next ones are even crazier, as you'll see in a second. The next set of teasers has everything to do with Nullscape's amazing enemies. As we all likely know, so many of Patch 5's enemies are amazingly fleshed out, but many of them do need changes. For instance, Flesh, Mart, Guardian, and others could all use improvements. Well, you'll be glad to hear that Delusional Descension appears to be reworking a lot of critical mechanics for the game's most common enemies. Firstly, we have Guardian, probably the hardest to prevent dying from enemy in the game right now, bruh. They are also adding a godsend of an indicator to make avoiding Guardian so much easier. The following GIF shows that even if you are not looking directly at Guardian, or otherwise facing away, you're still able to properly see the trajectory of the predictive projectiles and avoid them accordingly. The indicator also moves with the path of the bullet, which means it's not just an indicator for the initial direction. It actually is true to the entire lifetime of the bullet. This will make Guardian so much easier. It's currently uncertain if Voidbound Guardian will receive an indicator as well, but I'm sure many people would agree with me that when comparing VBG to Guardian, Guardian is the only one which truly needs an indicator, especially due to the very obvious telegraphs Voidbound Guardian's beams have. It's not very necessary to add one there because it is basically an indicator. Next, we have Flesh. You might be wondering how this enemy will even be reworked. It's already incredibly annoying, and that fact will likely be unchanging, even if there are changes. Well, what we do know is that there's going to be a new Flesh indicator which shows how long its debuff lasts. Now, I don't know about you, but this is a change I've been wanting for a while. There's currently no way to tell when your Fleshed effect ends in patch 5, which is disadvantageous because it makes it more difficult to plan out escape paths when surrounded by a ton of enemies. But with this, it will make it a lot easier. This appears to be the first teaser out of many upcoming indicator teasers, all of which will make various curses, items, and upgrades much easier to decipher and work with. More on that in a second. The next teaser is a teaser that has got me the most curious out of all of the enemy teasers. Now, before I show it, let me offer the disclaimer that this enemy was stated by the devs to be coming in the distant future, meaning it likely won't be in Digital Descension. Even still, since it's being teased alongside everything else that probably will be in Digital Descension, I wanted to include it. Take a look at this screenshot. It shows what appears to be a squid creature capable of floating anywhere in the void, with plenty of tendrils and even disturbing finger-like extensions to the tentacles. Its massive eye watches you closely, but not necessarily hostile by the looks of it. What do you guys think about this enemy, or perhaps something else? Here are my speculations. Number 1, although this could be an upcoming enemy and I do not want to discredit that possibility, I find it more likely to become part of the fauna within Nullscape's world instead. To illustrate this, consider that the game already has many native creatures shown off in the lobby. This includes the incredible realm weaver, the skull moths, and also the vibrant manta rays that hang out on the rocks and flying in the air. I suspect that this squid will become part of this group of creatures. Number 2, it could also become an enemy, of course. If it did, what would it even do? A couple guesses I have is holding you in place, forcing you to look at it, obstructing your vision through light, or perhaps guarding certain parts of the map or blockading gifts. Who knows? What do you guys think this thing could be? The next teaser raises a lot of questions and for me is the hardest to analyze. This high effort teaser posted in the Discord is an entire 22-second video labeled The Tragedy. As you can see, the video details a dev being constricted by something, preventing movement and ultimately leading to their death. This is incredibly vague in my opinion, but there are some things we can notice. Firstly, the dev appears to be held down by chains, or these black lines. Notice the 2 black lines connected to the player? This looks pretty crazy. I have a couple guesses as to what this could be. It could have something to do with the aforementioned squid, or it could be some sort of cadence curse, where the more instruments that are yet to be collected, the slower you are, with speed only going back to normal once the instruments are collected. I think this cadence guess is actually correct, because if you look closely in this exact frame, cadence is clearly in the back with at least one instrument active and uncollected. This does imply though that there might be multiple cadences, but it's still notable. That's about as much as I can gather from this teaser. Did you guys notice anything that I did not? Comment down below. Now, we have an enemy cooldown improvement next. Remember how ICBM frequency scales by how many people are alive? For instance, when someone is in LRS, ICBM frequency decreases? Well, it seems like this concept is being rightfully applied to other enemies too. Haim in the Discord states how if you are below a certain number of players alive, certain enemies such as Guardian, Sigil, and Voidbound Guardian will have the cooldowns between each of their attacks increased. This is going to make LRS a lot more fair and doable, especially in extreme lobbies, Chaos Demon lobbies, and any lobby which has already achieved overload. I like this change a lot, and think that in some ways it was overdue in order to balance many of the crazier enemies in this game, although we currently don't know if it's going to be every enemy or simply the ones listed by Haim. We'll just have to wait and see. The last two enemy changes are involving Springer and Mart. These goobers are being shown a lot of love apparently, because both of them are receiving what seems to be a ton of buffs, new curses, and other shenanigans. Let's start with Springer. There are two notable teasers for this enemy. Firstly, we have Springer bouncing on sea mines. Excuse me, this has to be a new curse of some kind. Notice how the sea mines begin to detonate before Springer lands on them, with them exploding as soon as they collide. At least in that sense, it appears like it will be somewhat easy to avoid since the sea mines will be visibly triggered, giving you time to move away. Even still, this removes mobility potential, as sea mines are often necessary to reach higher platforms or to get away from void-bound babies or something similar. What if this won't be a curse and will instead be added as Springer's normal functionality? This would be evil, and honestly, I do not believe it is outside the realm of things that the devs would be willing to do. We'll just have to see what they have in store, I guess. The other Springer teaser is Springer carrying instruments. Devs, come on, bro. This is gonna add some genuine difficulty to Springer. This will likely be a curse where instruments have a chance to spawn on top of Springer, meaning that you have to chase Springer down just to prevent Cadence from enraging. What a combo of enemy difficulty. It's changes like these that are truly going to make Delusional Descension so special, but also so goofy in so many ways. Lastly, we have Mart's upcoming changes. Mart is being shown the most love out of all of them by the looks of it. Just look at what we have in store, bro. First off, we have Mart visual changes and mechanic changes. Red Mart is coming to Nullscape. As we can see from the sprite sheets and posted GIF, Red Mart is a more dangerous red version of the usual Mart, which will explode once you get in its radiance, with a short period of time for you to escape. Come on, dude, this is so cool. I always love the idea of unique Mart variants, and we're officially getting them finally, at least in one of them. This will likely be a curse that either has, number one, Marts will have a chance to spawn red, or number two, replaces all permanent and even temporary Marts into the red explosive variant, kind of like the old Rebirth. Both implementations would be interesting. The next Mart changes are what appears to be a galaxy Mart or a literal water planet, along with other teasers showing Mart causing you to dance and even having some of the largest hitboxes we've seen yet. It also appears like Mart's animations might be edited a little bit. We have so much to speculate with here. Whether this is just Mart getting modernized, receiving Easter egg interactions, or literally being buffed, we won't know for sure until the update drops. That's all the enemy teasers for now. As you can tell, the enemies are probably some of the most exciting upcoming implementations into this game. I cannot wait to cover them in depth on this channel upon release. Be sure to subscribe to the channel in order not to miss it, by the way. I upload videos every week or so on Nullscape and related games. Hope to see you there once I cover Delusional Descension's release, celebrating as a community and streams and event. I can't wait for it. Now, this next section is probably the biggest one out of this entire guide, because we have a massive list of both upgrades and curses that are being teased for Delusional Descension. No time to waste, let's get into all of them. Firstly, I want to discuss three crucial aspects that relate to the polish of this game. There are several teasers that seem to show improved ways of viewing upgrades and curses. For instance, the following teasers, which we will discuss in depth in a bit, showcase what appears to be, number one, a new star icon to signify if a curse or upgrade was just added, number two, the ability to hover over any enemy or curse to read its tooltip after the pedestals, and 3, updated sprites and tooltips added to curses, not just enemies. All three of these are insanely helpful, not only for convenience and for more easily reading the list of upgrades and curses, but also for newer players who join mid or endgame lobbies and need an idea of what to do mid-run without checking the wiki. These may not seem like large changes to you, but it's crucial quality of life aesthetic changes like these which are so critically needed to help this game not only be more appealing visually, but to help new players be more comfortable while getting used to the game. It also helps make more sense of the clutter that the upgrade and curse list often become. After all, there's a reason people prefer it closed during gameplay. Having more features like these will make this menu much easier to navigate and make sense of. Next, let's start with new upgrades, beginning with gift idol changes that are also relevant due to amazing quality of life changes. Gift idol is an upgrade that is a massive benefit in endgame, allowing for quick collection that would otherwise not be possible if you were lucky enough. With the upcoming Delusional Descension changes, gift idol is going to be a lot more worth it now. There's going to be a new idol pity system, which is shown in depth through multiple teasers. Although we don't know much about exactly how the pity system will work, what we do know is that it will be stacked on top of the base percent chance. For instance, 3% would be the base chance if you have 3 gift idols. If you're unfamiliar with the pity concept, it basically entails that the longer you go without getting anything good, the more likely that the game will quote-unquote pity you by giving you the chance for free. Anyone who's played a gacha game knows exactly what I'm talking about. Applying this to gift idols, this likely means that if you go a certain amount of gifts without the proc, you're guaranteed to get it after X number. No idea what X would be though, maybe anywhere from 25 to 50, adjusted based on gift idol count. We'll have to wait and see. Aside from the above though, notice the amazing icons. There are amazing quality of life icons, 3 of them, which will help tremendously. Notice all of them. One of them showcases the gift idol system, along with 2 others. By the looks of it, this one shows how many subspatial barriers you have for easy reference, while the other one showcases how many shields you have. Especially in the case of subspatial barriers, this is going to be so nice to be able to easily see. It removes the pressure of needing sound effects for people who play with not as much sound, and plus, it makes the game more accessible and polished overall. As for the upgrades, here is a list of every single upgrade we currently know of that is likely to be included in Delusional Descension, and existing upgrades with new changes. Number 1, the ability to get a 4th Swiftness Ring. We currently have no idea how this will be possible. My guess is through a wish, the devs having increased the cap, or something similar. Number 2, Propeller Hat. According to the teaser, it will allow double jumps while bonked, consuming all of them though. This will likely assist with preventing void deaths. Number 3, Paycheck Buff. For each altar used, its reward will increase by 25%. This will make altars of chance, for instance, much more worth using. Will this be a buff to the existing paycheck, or will this be its own separate upgrade which will modify all of your existing paychecks? We'll have to see. Number 4, Shadow Cloak. This is one of the most frequently teased upgrades. It will allow you to phase through other players and objects. And hopefully this will help prevent PvP and make navigation easier. I wonder how expensive it will be. Number 5, Soul Tracers. When someone dies, collecting the orb that spawns where they died will grant golden gifts. This is slightly random, but will help remedy the golden gift loss occurring if a teammate who could have collected a ton of gifts ends up dying. Seems like a godsend for eco, honestly. Lastly, the metal upgrade is being improved. By the looks of it, you'll be able to collect it every level, even if it's standard or extreme. The trade-off is that the resulting metal curses, which will still grant golden gifts, will be temporary. The teacher says they will last for 8 levels. Much like temporary enemies, they end up faded in the toolbar. This will make metal curses a lot less risky. With upgrades out of the way, what about curses? We have some even crazier stuff for that. Here's the entire list of new curses or existing curse changes. Number 1, Efficient Coolant. Scrap Maw is getting its first curse. It will allow beams to cross now, which will restrict movement greatly. Honestly, I don't expect this to be a popular curse, as it will force you to slow down, unless you can still somehow use speed through barrel trauma or skillful ability usage to get out of the way, but it will be harder for sure. Number 2, Baby Steps. Oh god, looks like babies will gain an additional dash, making them function similar to the double dashing babies in Extreme, in easier difficulties. This also implies the possibility of Extreme babies dashing 3 times in quick succession. Oh heck no. Number 3, Void Explosions. If you are just outside of the radius of a Vimp, it will explode and knock you back almost like a worse sea mine. This will be annoying. Number 4, Razor-Bloom Curse. We'll be getting a regular curse for a greater curse, assuming Razor-Bloom stays as a greater curse, that is. We do not have a name for this, but based on the small icon, it's pretty easy to infer that if Razor-Bloom is on your head, as shown in this teaser, you will float or otherwise fly. This will likely be a nerf and a buff in many ways, only making Razor-Bloom easier or harder depending on the circumstance. Number 5, Higher Gravity. The name speaks for itself. I had this idea ages ago, so I'm so glad they're implementing it. Although it sounds annoying, unless people want to prevent airtime, it's probably not going to be chosen much. We won't know if it's useful until we see it, I guess. Number 6, Oblivion. We get a short teaser of what seems to be a new skybox design for when Oblivion is on your screen. It looks pretty and less obtrusive, although it's hard to tell if it will be a buff yet or not. What do you think? Number 7, the 7th thing is an improvement to curse pools. Any mutually exclusive curses, most notably Bombardment and Ballet, or Closer Husk and Further Husk for example, will no longer be able to show up at the same time in the same pedestal set of 3 anymore once the update drops. This will make greater curses and curse selections all around a lot less risky. Number 8, this next one appears to be some sort of buff version of Scorched Earth. Looking at the ICBM indicator mixed with regular and blue fire, we're really unsure what this is. What are we looking at? Does anyone have any ideas? And number 9, the last curse change is rather vague actually. Its text, which reads, "The next curse selection will have infinite rerolls," is incredibly cryptic. How? This means you can sit there forever and guaranteed get the curse you want. For instance, lap 2 if you're seeking it. How will this be possible? Through wishes? Maybe casual will allow this every 10 levels or something? What do you think? Whew, that was a lot of curses and upgrades though. Which ones are you most excited for? We have so much to speculate with, and I wonder if my predictions will end up being correct. We'll just have to wait. One of the most positively influential subjects that the devs are actively working on is class changes. We all know that in many ways, not all the classes are balanced or equivalent in terms of practicality. This next update seems to greatly remedy that, focusing on every class in some way by the looks of it. Based on the teasers I have looked through, we already have a decent idea on upcoming changes for as many as 4 of the current classes. I'm going to outline each of my speculations along with bonus thoughts about one certain special class. Firstly, we have diver changes. Now, diver is already a really solid class. As the default free class that most players use, it's relatively reliable, providing value in every stage of the game in some form, along with having quite meaningful improvements with associated upgrades like Shark Tail and Ninja Belt for instance. Its usefulness is getting increased, however, in the way that Gift Magnet and Miniature Hourglass affect it is being modified. Have a look at the following gifts. As you can see, the gift collection radius is not only a lot larger, but it's a lot more dynamic. Using the words of Haim, it now decays as you complete the dive. This provides so much usefulness. The reason that the radius is so much larger is, according to the devs, Hourglass will increase the radius by 50% now, along with actually increasing the radius of normal dives as well. The increased amount depends on whether it is a regular dive or an alt dive. This is going to make gift collection tremendously easier, and in my case, it's going to give me much more reason to leave the gift collection radius setting turned on. I don't know about you guys, but I often turn it off, as even with endgame upgrades, I don't find the ring to be particularly useful, though that is just my preference. With this though, that basically entirely changes, especially with the way that this concept will likely be applied to other classes, which you'll see more of in a second. Next is the Grappler and Spirit changes. We're going to cover both in this part. Gift collection radius is being buffed in a similar fashion by the looks of it for both of these classes, but in more dynamic ways. Starting with Grappler, have a look. Grappling towards the ground genuinely will have much more value next update. Notice that the stamina bar is not being depleted. According to the devs, the grappling cooldown will be reduced based on how many gifts you collect during that reel. Similarly, the Spirit Teasers show off a similar concept. By the looks of it, gifts that you are above will be able to be collected, even if they're not necessarily in your radius. And when Spirit Flinging, your gift collection radius gets buffed as well, with each gift collected restoring stamina. Both of these classes make Grappler and Spirit incredible for endgame. Imagine how much faster collecting gifts is going to be. I don't know about you guys, but I wonder if this is going to make these changes for these classes a little bit too broken. I guess we'll have to see what happens when these changes get implemented in game. The next thing is something interesting regarding Wanted. A recent teaser was posted which showcases a dev using Wanted, consuming all of their double jumps at once in order to get a more powerful jump, along with what appears to be a quick drop similar to Charger. Not gonna lie, these changes, seemingly a version of an alt ability that, rather than cancelling your momentum, will help you enhance it in the aforementioned ways, are gonna make Wanted genuinely actually have an ability. In other words, I don't think we'll be able to truly say that this will be an ability-less class anymore, because these kinds of tech are genuinely useful in ways that other classes cannot provide. I wonder if this class, or perhaps Prisoner, will be enhanced or changed in any other ways. That's all we have on Wanted teasers for now, unfortunately though. Who knows what else the devs have in store. Lastly, I wanted to say one more thing in this mini bonus section. Notice how there are no teasers listed here for Charger. Well, Charger is largely considered the meta class in the community, mostly because its insane mobility, gift collection, protection from trip mines, and endgame usefulness make it stand out significantly from other classes. I'm not necessarily of the opinion that this is a problem. I think Charger is amazing in its current state. However, the changes that the devs are making to the other classes are absolutely going to make Charger not be the only endgame viable class. I mean, just look at the gift collection radius changes, for example. There's going to be genuine reason to consider using Spirit, for instance, and considering it better than Charger in many ways, depending on what you're going for. I think this is an important, healthy change for the game, as having one class dominate endgame is not exactly ideal. It'll also balance everything out, making the meta more varied. I look forward to this. What do you guys think of these class changes? What else would you like to see class-wise? Notice that Glider or Prisoner are not included in any teasers yet. I wonder what the devs have in store for those classes, if anything. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Next, let's cover upcoming gameplay changes teased by the devs. We have three main things to discuss, but I'd argue that these are three of the biggest, most influential changes to the game's meta out of anything in this entire video. Let's get into why. First thing, which is huge for glider mains like me, but frankly any class, is the option to change the keybind for Shark Tail usage. This is literally huge. In my case, I don't know if anyone can relate, but I find myself unable to be comfortable using Shark Tail as a glider, ignoring it entirely in order to survive, even if I know it could be useful. The reason why is because, for me, it's simply too difficult to use with the default keybinds, and I like the default keybinds too much. Yes, I know this is a skill issue, but still. Having more functionality to customize a mechanic as critical as this is going to be crucial for all classes, and most especially tech-heavy classes like Charger. I hope that they add more changes like these. There will be other new options being added, the teasers for which will hopefully be coming out soon. The second is much more impactful. It's undeniable that Nullscape requires an insanely large time commitment, much more so than other games I've played on Roblox. There's a reason the Leech Legends meme exists. In order to get proper endgame runs and to get critical endgame badges, or even just for endurance and longevity runs, you need to invest 1 hour to as much as 4 or 5 hours depending on your goals and the run. This is even worse in runs like Solo, where it takes genuinely so long to get to desirable levels like level 35. However, the upcoming fast track system is going to make this so much better. Based on the teasers that have been released, there will be a new lobby modifier called Fast Track, which will allow you to skip to the shop levels, potentially as much as having the time it takes to get to desirable parts of the game. Thank God! In order to make this fair, balancing such as eco being affected somehow, and set curses and enemy choices that you missed being auto-selected are ways the devs have discussed to do this. There will also be temporary enemies as a downside, which eventually goes away upon reaching level 15, along with the requirement of reaching level 25 before this becomes available. This is going to make early game a lot more bearable. Do keep in mind that by the looks of it, this is not going to make regular mode irrelevant. Regular mode will give more control over eco, allowing you to choose what curses and enemies you get, and allowing more influence over the run. So honestly, what you choose in the coming update should be dependent on your situation. If you're low on time or energy, use Fast Track, and if you have the time and are willing to commit, regular runs it is. The third gameplay change in question is just as big, if not even more crucial: retries! Another problem with this game is that the time commitment that is required does not juxtapose well with how little room for error there is, especially in runs with lower people and, most critically, solo. The devs have teased that there will be a new live system in the game, allowing you to retry levels and maintain amounts of lives that can be used to make your runs go so much farther than they ever would have without this. Honestly, this change is going to single-handedly increase the amount of players for Nullscape. Not everyone has people to play with, and many people just want to spontaneously play alone. This will make doing so not only a lot more possible, but so much more accessible and enjoyable. Thank God for this. The teasers currently do not show, though, how these lives are gained, and it also does not show how many maximum lives you can have. My guess is that the less people you have, the more access you have to lives. In addition, it's possible that the previously discussed hard altar is how you gain those lives, in exchange for a downside of some kind. Lives could be gained in any amount of ways, we'll just have to see. Either way, these changes are going to be huge for the replayability of Nullscape. I truly commend the devs for taking action on these improvements, as they are going to supercharge the quality and enjoyment of this game, in the same way that the changes in this upcoming section do. Alright, we've made it to the spoiler section. If you want to avoid spoilers, this is your last chance to leave to avoid being spoiled. Still here? Alright then, let's get into it. This last section will cover some exciting changes to the Celestials boss fight. If you've experienced this fight for yourself, you'll know how unrelenting it can be, even if you're doing casual and not standard. All because you have no trip mines, for instance, doesn't make the pizza cutters or Death and Bloom any easier to dodge. However, if you've seen footage of extreme Celestial runs or experienced them yourself perhaps, you'll notice that not much is different, if at all. Many players see that as a problem, and me, personally, I think having a harder version of Celestial doesn't cause any harm. It'll be a rewarding challenge once we all master Celestial and will help keep the game fresh for longer. For reasons like this and others, people have been wanting a harder version of the Celestial fight, and by the looks of it, it appears that it is exactly what we're going to get, aside from insanely beneficial quality of life changes in regards to practicing Celestial. More on that in a second. Firstly, since getting into a Celestial attempt requires hours and hours of a regular run, or leeching if you're one of those leech legends, it's not very accessible. That's why the upcoming Celestial practice mode is going to be such a godsend. Although we don't have a ton of information on what this is going to look like, what we do know is that similar to the aforementioned Fast Track lobby modifier, this Celestial practice mode will give you set curses and upgrades to make up for the time you would have spent reaching there. It's unclear if activating pylons prior to the fight will be part of the practice. By the looks of it, it doesn't look like it will be, but it would be beneficial if people could practice that too, in my opinion. Aside from that though, it's clear that this mode will be true to the original Celestial fight, offering a chance to practice before going to the real thing in an actual lobby. I genuinely cannot wait for this. It's going to be so much fun to practice Celestial freely with subscribers. I hope to do this soon in my weekly events, by the way. Aside from that though, this will be a beneficial change for anyone going for Celestial. Second, on the harder version of Celestial. By the looks of it, this will either be the version of Celestial accessible in extreme difficulty, which seems to be the most confirmed option by the devs, or it will be some sort of modifier, perhaps in practice or spawned by admins, who knows. Have a look at the teasers we have access to though. Not only do these show attacks that never would have overlapped otherwise, such as crumbles and pizza cutters at the same time for instance, but it appears like there are new attacks such as the dark rifts shown in this specific screenshot. The video teaser we have appears to be a buffed version of a phase 2 attack chain, as it shows just about every attack that the Celestial has one after another. Just look how chaotic this is. How in the world are we gonna dodge that while doing pylons, bro? I already know advanced players are going to eat this up. And although I'm not John Nullscape or some absolute goat like Deep1 or Link, I imagine I'll be enjoying the heck out of this once I'm skilled enough to. Gotta beat the normal Celestial first though. I cannot wait for more Celestial teasers. The Celestial is arguably the most exciting, most alluring, and amazing part of the game right now. That being said, I hope the changes that are made and any other improvements do not undermine endurance runs. The current state of patch 5 discourages the insanely accomplishing feat of reaching level 50, since doing so is no longer necessary to reach the Celestial, and most runs end at Celestial rather than ever seeing level 50 like you could before the hotfix. If there was some sort of incentive for reaching level 50, I think that'd be very healthy for the game. Aside from that though, all these upcoming Celestial changes look amazing. Can't wait to experience them in game. What do you guys think? And that is just about everything. Isn't that insane? From the polishing to the genuinely exciting new curses and enemies to the alter changes that genuinely make them more relevant to classes genuinely becoming more useful across the board, Delusional Descension is going to make Nullscape even more so one of the best games on Roblox by far currently. I hope you've enjoyed being hyped about the next update with me. I love sharing my excitement with you guys. As always, I wanted to extend a massive thank you to my Nitro boosters and also to say thank you so much everybody for 1,000 community Discord members. This is an insane accomplishment. I couldn't be happier that you guys are enjoying what I have to offer. Here's to many more crazy 100-player lobbies, crazy achievements, and more experiences of many kinds. For now though, that's all I got. Thank you so much for chilling with me for this video. I'll see you around. Live well and have a great rest of your day.